Hello, this little video is going to show you about sim timing in the EHR. What we've got here is a case study that is used for orientation to EHR. It just has basic charting for students to explore. I've decided to use this as an example of how we can create a sim timing experience, because this chart has a series of events happening. First off, the patient has medications ordered, and then there's blood vital signs recorded, a medication administration, another vital signs, and another vital signs. So those actions would make good opportunities for students to participate and actually do the recording, the vital signs themselves, and record them in this EHR. And we also have lab reports coming in. And I'm going to click this button here. By the way, you could see that was the case study, just stepping through each time that there's a record. And here, when I combine all the records, you can see there are two lab reports, one at 0900 and another at 1630. I guess more to explain this screen, we have a little section of records which have no timestamp associated with them, and the patient arrives, or the first records with time are 0700. Not sure what else I want to say about this. I want to show you that I made a copy of this. I just used the duplicate button. I'm going to return to case studies, and I show you the duplicate that I made. It was called Mary Rutherford for sim timing. I can send you this by email, and you can upload it into your system if you wish. So I've taken the same activity, copied it, and then added some notes about what am I doing here. I've taken this and I'm using it for sim timing. The students can do what. I've added some tagging as well, so I can see it in my larger list of case studies. And then I went into the, this is because I'm in a demonstration mode that the error message is showing up. Then I went in and I had a look and I went, oh yes, that's right, I can do this. So then I used the edit button to go into the EHR. I went to current visit, went to vital signs, and I removed all the vital signs. I went to medadmin, removed those things, and then I saved it. And so that became the case study that we just saw, Mary Rutherford, sim timing. And then I went to now case studies by themselves are just EHR data, case study patient data. The way that they get delivered to the student is through a learning object. Learning objects let you reuse case studies for many different learning objectives. They also allow you to create the learning objectives by writing the description. This description becomes the instructions to the student. And in this case, we can configure staging on one and maybe not the other. Activities, which are courses, the courses have activities. Courses use learning objects. So the student is going to be using this one. I'm going to change, let's just do that. I'm using this learning object, which is go to the EHR orientation, but I'm going to configure this activity. I clicked on the configuration button. I'm going to click on it to use the orientation with simulation timing. So now when the student comes to this activity, they will be using this new learning object that that I've configured, but you would configure. So just to recap, I'm sorry, there's a lot of flashing screens, and I appreciate that this is a learning curve. Case studies have content. Learning objects wrap the content and give instructions to students. It provides the learning objectives, and the activities link to a learning object to get their action, get their work. So we have this sim timing staging control affordance, and I've created some stages here as samples of what to do. Again, we see the same time slicing of the case study. And that shows just the hemoglobin, the lab report. That shows the one at 1630, and you combine the results to see everything. What I've done is created stages in between to ask the student to do work. So at 0700, the student will see these instructions: record vitals, blood pressure, etc., and they would create the record that was in the original, recreate it. Now, the sky's the limit of what you do here. I mean, this is just an example of what's possible. Then I created stage 2, which has just after the lab results have arrived. So does that work? Yeah, they just after the lab results arrived. Because I clicked this, it took the next one up. So it just sees the 0900 lab results. So then you have another time to both record the medication administration of metformin and ask your students to record the vitals. So, okay. Then on stage 3, we do another just simple record the vitals, which ends up being at around 12:30. And then at 16:30 in the afternoon, the next lab results come in. And I didn't know really what you'd want to do here, but I just suppose that perhaps this is a good time for the student nurse to create a compose a progress note. So with very simple setup, you've created this progressive learning environment. Oh, and by the way, the vitals, as you do progress them, are showing that this patient is, the blood pressure is rising and their glucose is rising. So I'm not sure exactly what that means, to be honest, in a learning environment for nurses. That's an interesting part for you to take advantage of and perhaps suggest other actions on stage 3 or 4. All right, I think this is really cool. Okay, so then how does this work? You've created this in the learning object in the EHR orientation on the activity. Now this is your class. Let's jump in and see what it looks like as a student. Without any simulation timing there, we'll just sign in as Dorothea's student. The student has full control, okay, of the time, and they can step through and they see everything in here. So for example, there are no vital signs, I'm sorry. Lab reports, they would see the whole chart. So patient results, lab reports, hematology. They see the whole chart with everything in it. I'm going to return to my normal role. I'm going to go into simulation controls, sim timing controls, and I'm going to initialize time control. Now what's happened is that simulation time is set to the first stage, stage 1, which is at 7:10. I can actually start the timer so that the student experiences a clock progressing in time, starting at 17:10. Okay, and let's go in and be a student to see what the student sees. No longer can the student adjust the time, and if they look at their instructions, I hope this worked. You'll be asked to record. No, it didn't work. My apologies for demonstration mode. When you come to see this, the student will see the instructions that you created back in the simulation control, and they would then come in to the vital signs and go to the vital signs and add a vital signs. Let me return back to my instructor role, go back to the controls, and then I can go to stage 2 by selecting that, which preloads the 1910, set the time, you updated the time, and I can start a timer again. So it starts at, start the timer. 1910 will progress for 15 minutes. And once again, let's go into as a student, and we'll just see that the time has changed. And if we come to the patient chart, lab reports, hematology, we see the lab report at 0900. That was not visible when the student was first in here at 0710. Return as an instructor, you're just stepping through this, trying to make sure everything works well. You can select stage 3, set the time, and repeat. That would be where your student would record the vitals. And then you can go on to stage 4, set the time. And as you come back into your lab results, under patient chart, lab results, hematology, you see both the lab results. And by this time, the student has already accumulated records in their vital signs 3 times, and they've included medication administration at least once in this exercise. But the sky is the limit for what you can do. As an instructor, I'll return to my normal role, and I think that covers off the demonstration of all that you can do. And I'm just going to go back into this screen here just to show that the creation of simulations is very easy. You can hit a button, enter any time you want, 10, 11, describe it, describe the instructions. That puts the stage in there. You can later edit or delete. Edit, just change the time if you wish to 12:32, save. It reorders it if necessary. So it's very flexible and very powerful, and opens up a lot of opportunities for making authentic and realistic simulations, both for SimLab and for theory classes. That's it for now. Bye.